Okay, I thought I'd just do a quick demo of this. I guess at first it appears like, how the hell am I going to get that in here once this is all enclosed? But it will slip past the back here. So I've already got it, past the first little bit. So if you just kind of wiggle it down there, you can get it into place. Okay, today's Saturday, February 18th. I just finished all of these brackets. It's a fair bit of cutting and drilling and everything. So this is ready to be attached now. So these are all of the brackets you got to build for them. So what I did was, after I made two, I just used them as templates to do the other two. So it doesn't take quite so long to measure everything. So these fit in like so, and like you can see, you cut a little pocket out of the tub, and same for that side. Today is Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. I just finished those braces there, so all of the brackets that are needed to put the landing gear in are done. So the next chance I get to come out here, start building the legs, attaching all to the legs on the bench here before they go into the bucket for the landing gear. So here in the bucket, I can't remember if I made a video of this before, but you can see that cutout there. I haven't cut the floor out yet, so that's the cutout in the in this tub. The landing gear mounts. It kind of goes like at an angle like that, and then it attaches in this area somewhere. That's where this sits. As soon as I'm done building the legs, I'll cut those out and then start attaching them, around about here somewhere. So that's basically the progress right now, is just fabricating all those brackets. They're fairly, well, once you get one done, like there's, what is it, three, four, I guess there's four different types of brackets. Once you do one, they're all mirrors of each other, so you can use one as a template for the other one. So the second one goes fast, but you got to measure a bunch of little holes to exact spots and everything, and cut them out of this this big piece, or was a big piece. And this is the second one. The landing gear package comes with two of these, and I believe there's also a couple extra pieces of this same 6061 that's 1/4 of an inch and 1.5 on each side. They give you a couple extras in case you screw up, I guess. But this is the leftover from just doing those brackets. So I went through one of the 4-foot pieces, and then there's this little bit that's left after doing those brackets. I haven't gotten far enough into the instructions. I'm sure there's some more stuff that needs to be fabricated out of this, but that's where I'm at right now. I just finished making all the brackets. I just finished making those two, which were probably the easiest to do because there's no angles or anything. It's just cutting holes and cutting them to size and cutting holes in them. So that's where it sits. As soon as I come back, I'll be starting building the legs so they can be attached to the tub in there. And then once they're attached, I'm still waiting on the wheels and brakes and everything, but I will have the landing gear on fairly soon. Okay, I've got most of this assembled now. The only thing I have left to do is these here need to have an angle on the other side. That's why they're sticking out and they don't fit. So I neglected to cut that one angle for those two, so it can mount on there, and then go flush up against there, and there's a whole bunch of bolts that hold that on. So it's pretty solid setup. of course, all this is going to have to come out to put it in the plane, because of course I have to roll the thing around the back there to get it in, and then slide the gear leg down in, and then get the brackets up against there to get it all set up. So this is all got to come apart. Well, most of it. Some of the brackets that are mounted to the leg can stay on, but most of it's got to come off because I can't get it in the plane otherwise. And as long as I have everything off, I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead and prime these while they're off, or just give it a shot of primer once it's installed, because it's a 2-day wait, and I might do it. I don't know. So these holes also got widened out. They weren't as wide as I thought they were. So these go pretty much right out to the edge. I guess you can see it on this one. I'm just using those as a weight. I had this clamped down earlier, but I had to take it off to get access to the bolts. But anyway, there you can see how far you have to cut. You have to go right to the curves, because you can see this fiberglass piece goes right edge to edge. In fact, it's really snug. So you have to cut it all the way to the edge. And I spent quite a bit of time with a angle grinder, just making sure it was exactly on the edge and no further. So one leg is pretty much done. I just got to cut those, and then I need to take it apart and put it in here. I guess the only other thing I would mention is I need to double check the drawing and be sure that there's nothing underneath those bolts, because I had to use double washers on both sides of those because they're not threaded all the way down, to get it to snug up on the threaded part of the bolt. So I'm going to double check the drawing and make sure that there's not supposed to be any clamp there, because that seems a little odd, because there's one on the other side. You can't see it while it's clamped on, but there's a right underneath this. There's one of these. So and that's what's holding that snug up against there. And I would think that you would need one of those there, and there's enough room for it. So I'm gonna double check and make sure that those are supposed to go on like that. Okay, today is Wednesday, March 16th. Yeah. I'm just finishing up the second leg. The other one's sitting over there. I'm just getting everything match drilled here, but I'm about, I don't know, halfway through getting that together and making sure all the holes match. So this one was a lot easier to do, because I'd already done one, so I knew where everything went, and I could kind of use everything as a template to make the second one. So this one went a lot faster, and no real issues at all. It's just a matter of drilling the holes and getting the bolts on. So that's what I'm doing now. It's getting late, so I'll probably finish the rest in a day or two. Just like the other one, once everything is match drilled and looks good, I'll have to take everything back off so it can go in there. But then it's the legs go in permanently, and then there's a bunch of plates that go over top of here to cover it up. It's going to be a slog, but it's looking good. I've got both legs completely fabricated. It's just match drilling them to the bucket there, and then pulling them out, put the bucket in, put the legs back on. There's also these that go on the end of the legs. That's where the wheels will actually mount on. Obviously, they're a little on the heavy side, so I didn't bother putting them on yet. But once the legs are fastened into the cabin, back of the cabin there, these will go on, and then when I get the wheels, all the magic happens. So hopefully by the weekend this gets done. Okay, today is Sunday, March 20th, and nice day outside, not insanely windy, so got both doors open. Hasn't been a whole lot of activity today because it is a little breezy, but not so breezy that it makes it impossible to work in here. So if you can hear I don't know if you can hear from the phone or not, but the doors are rattling like crazy over there. So anyway, breezy but not too breezy. This side here is completely bolted on. This side here is completely bolted on, and there's quite a bit of bolting in, as you can see. A lot of this, like these here, this here, and these bolted together as one piece onto the the fiberglass, and then slid down in. So the only thing you really need to do is bolt it onto this bucket. I haven't gotten these bolted in yet, so that's left to do. This one, and where's the camera? So I haven't gotten those bolted in yet, and there's still a bunch of bolting I have to do on those over there, but most of it is done. I guess the most difficult part of bolting this in, so that bolt right there is attached down, so that bolt goes down in behind there, and unless you've got small hands, that is really difficult. I ended up gluing the washer onto the nut, and then using a magnetic screwdriver to hold it in place while I got the bolt in there. It is a nightmare unless you've got small hands. So if you've got a kid to help you, that would, because it's really small in there. Either need small hands or really long fingers. So whatever works. But I was able to get them in. That's the only real pain in the ass to getting that on. The rest of it is just a kajillion bolts, and this is rock solid now. So the majority of the time that it took to get all this done was manufacturing all the parts. Once you have one of them done, you can kind of mirror one and do the other side, and then they're all exactly the same on the other side. So once you get one set completed, it actually goes a little bit quicker. But I would say at least half of the time was spent just fabricating those. So there's a part here that is my own invention because the bolts were just a little bit long, and it seemed like it would be appropriate to have a plate over top of that. There's another plate that's a 1/4 inch thick on the other side there that you can't see, but and that's not on the other side of those specific bolts. It's another one, but so there's these two here. There's that that's an angle there, and then that plate, which is my just addition. The bolts were just like a millimeter too long. Like the threads were like a millimeter out because part of the bolt isn't threaded. So I put that plate on there, and I think it works better anyway because it kind of protects the fiberglass from the bolt digging into it, even though the parts don't actually call for it. So this part here is fiberglass. It's just got primer on it, and there's those two parts there, that angle in behind them. There's a straight piece that makes that's sort of like this, but it's a lot thicker on the underside, and of course those go on both sides, obviously. So and those still need to be bolted in. So there's a fair amount of, and I guess the other half of the time that it takes to put all this together is fitting everything, because it's pretty tight tolerances. Like for instance, those pieces there, I had to shave maybe those two that are up against the big C channel there. It probably took, like, I had to shave them at an angle, and I would say I probably took 2 millimeters off of the back so they would fit flush with the frame, and just little stuff like that. But you know, it's just there's a million there's a million bolts to put in, and everything has to fit at these, you know, weird angles. So it's just a matter of, okay, put it in. Is it just right? Oh, almost. And then, you know, you just either use an angle grinder or the bench grinder to take it back off, and that's a lot of the other time that it takes is you know, taking it off and putting it back on the bench grinder. One thing that I didn't do that I should have done, and it does say to do that in the instructions, so that's my bad, is to just drill eighth-inch holes. Use the just the little clamps to hold everything together until you get ready to drill everything out and match drill it. So I guess the basic way that I did it was I had this on the bench and just basically doing one leg at a time, match drilling everything so everything would fit. And one interesting thing was, you know, even though you match drill everything and everything is symmetrical, I realized that I had this, even though this tub is symmetrical, you can put it in either, you know, front to back or back to front. It doesn't matter. It's exactly the same. You know, the holes are going to be like, you know, a 32nd of an inch off on one compared to the other, and it was immediately obvious that I put them on the wrong sides, because once I switched them back around, everything fit exactly the way I had match drilled it. So that's why that's why there's a left and a right marked on there, so I didn't do it again. So that took you know, an extra 10 minutes to take things off and put them back on the right side. But so once this is on, there's going to be a bunch of plates. I believe there's 3 of them that go there in the middle, and then on that side to cover everything up, as well as, of course, bolting those in. And I have to remeasure because like just getting this installed, I've just kind of been jiggling it around, and it probably needs to be tapped forward or back a little bit to be exactly the right station line. So it's where it's supposed to be. It's very, very close, but the concern right now is just getting the gear legs in. So once those black pieces are on, I'll probably be moving on to the front part here to put the nose gear in. And there's a whole menagerie of parts that go in here for the rudder pedals and everything. So that's all got to go in, and I'm sure that's a couple weeks work just getting that done. This took the better part of a month just because I was busy doing other things, and there's a lot of fabrication of really big, heavy parts. So one other thing, and I guess it probably depends on the quality of the cutting wheels that you get. These are just cheapo Harbor Freight ones, but I've gone through, I think, 3 of these, and you can see this one's starting to get a little worn down. This is either the 3rd or 4th one. Cutting that 6061 T6 aluminum, it really it really uses up these cutting wheels, and they're not expensive, but you'll use up several of these cutting the parts if you use an angle grinder. I've got a bandsaw, but I find this easier to cut stuff with. So and it gets unbelievably hot at times because it's because just that alloy is very tough to cut. So this gets finished bolting in, and then the plates put on. I'll be cutting that plywood over there to fit on each side of that, and it's going to be wrapped in fiberglass to stiffen it, and then put in here to make the final floor. And that's just decent quality plywood, and I'm going to seal it with fiberglass. So that'll go in the floor here, and then it's off to the races getting the nose gear done. Next project is just finishing this up and putting those black brackets on. So that's my progress for March 20th. Thanks for watching.